get confirmation. We're good to go. Thank you. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Smith. I'm the Chief Executive Officer here at the City of Darebin. And I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners and custodians of the land we now call Darebin, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Council also pays its respects to all other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities in Darebin. Council recognises and pays tribute to the diverse cultural resilience and heritage of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge the leadership of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and the right to self-determination in the spirit of mutual understanding and respect. Well, good evening. I'd like to welcome our special guests, councillors, welcome, and their families and friends. Ms Bronwyn Halfpenny, MP, Mr Bernie Geary, OAM, former Commissioner for Children and Young People, Vince Fontana, former Darebin Mayor and Councillor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. In accordance with Section 25(3) of the Local Government Act 2020 and Council's Governance Rules 2020, I'm required to take the role of temporary chair of this meeting until the election of the Mayor has been conducted. We'll move on now to the business of the evening. First of all, apologies, and the following apologies have been received for tonight's meeting. The Honourable Jed Kearney, MP, Kat Theophanous, MP, Uncle Ringo Terrick, who was coming to welcome you to country, is an apology, and Councillor Gaetano Greco, who's requested extended leave due to the closeness of the state election and his participation in that. We'll start with item 3. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest, councillors? There being none, we'll now move to item 4.1. So I'll now invite Councillor Messina to reflect on her time as Mayor over the last 12 months. Councillor Messina.
Good evening, everyone. What an absolute honour and a privilege it has been to serve as the Mayor of Darebin City Council over the last 2 years. May I begin by thanking my fellow councillors and the Deputy Mayors that supported me, Councillor Gaetano Greco and Councillor Trent McCarthy. In this role, the highlight for me has been the pleasure of meeting so many wonderful members of our vibrant community, from the neighbourhood houses, the sporting community, our local business proprietors and beyond. I place my hand on my heart and declare that I have a commercial head with a social heart, underpinned by deep passion. But I guess that passion all began in Kramer Street. This girl from Preston, from running the school breakfast program and being elected first on council to being the Mayor is certainly something that I didn't aspire to. So I hope that's a message to all those who want to achieve goals and set some parameters for themselves. Council is more than myself and a group of councillors. Council is made up of 1,300 officers, including community members. And I want to take time to reflect on the community and also on our executive leadership team. I want to thank, first and foremost, our team. I want to thank Rachel. I want to thank Jodie. I want to thank Sam and Shadi. Your team and the people that are underpinned by you are phenomenal. We've won so many awards. I want to point some out. First of all, it's VICO project that did not win just the Victorian award, it won the national awards. We often don't celebrate those successes, so I want to highlight that. I want to highlight Sam and your team. The Rewilding won the Victoria's Premier's Sustainability Award. Congratulations to your team. I know there are staff members who have won LG Pro awards. I know staff members who have won different other awards, but we don't highlight them often. So I want to say congratulations to that team, to each individual 1,300 member that have come together to make Darebin Council the council that it is. I want to thank also Bethany, Vass, Gina and Georgie, who also support me on that journey. I always aspire that Darebin was a better place to call home, to learn, to build a small business, to raise a family, to work, to visit, to thrive in. During the last 2 years, our community continued to demonstrate great resilience and strength through connection in the face of ongoing challenges. The impacts of the pandemic have continued to weigh on the community and council, affecting the ways we all live, work and play. I am inspired by the way our community pulls together during the tough times to support one another, come together on the other side stronger. Darebin is so diverse and it's a prosperous place we can all be proud of. A few things that I'm actually proud of is most recently the historic Memorandum of Understanding signing with the Aboriginal Housing Victoria, improving access to housing for Aboriginal people who live in Darebin. Seeing local artists through all our works of life flourish through the Fuse Festival program and also the 86 Festival that's coming next year. Darebin's commitment to protecting the Preston market, a pillar of local culture and identity. It is a pizza of the community, and there can only be one. The placemaking policy I'm really excited about. Our civic spaces will be more open and congruent in terms of our reflection of our community. The opening of Narrandjeri Stadium, designed to boost participation in sport and community activities, especially women and girls. This is a handful of things that we have achieved and this council has done over the last 2 years. We will continue to deliver on our council plan and a vision and on our promises to making Darebin an equitable, vibrant and connected community. On a personal note, I want to thank my loved ones and my family who have supported me during this time. I couldn't have done it without you. And I also want to congratulate, and I look forward to, and then this council appointed a new mayor, sorry, not a new mayor, we're going to do that in a minute, the CEO. I just can't wait to see the things that we're going to do at this particular council under yourself and your guidance of the CEO, and I'm really excited to the prosperous Preston that's going to be underpinned by placemaking. So I welcome and look forward to working with you. I also look forward to continuing my work as a councillor alongside my colleagues with the officers and the community to continue to deliver quality outcomes for all of Darebin. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Messina. I would like, on behalf of the organisation, to acknowledge your leadership of the council and the community over the last few years. In my short time as CEO, it's been an absolute pleasure to have worked with you. Councillor Messina, you've demonstrated passion and empathetic leadership of our council through the challenges of leading our community and council through COVID, and many times that you've just mentioned over the past 2 years. During your time as Mayor, councillors delivered on so many meaningful pieces of work which will continue to benefit all of our diverse community well into the future, and we have a little gift to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So I'll now invite Councillor McCarthy to reflect on his time, that you are Councillor McCarthy, as Deputy Mayor over the last 12 months. Councillor McCarthy.
Thank you so much, Peter, and I'll stand up. I'd just like to start off also acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and also acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. And the work that we do as councillors is in close solidarity with First Nations communities, including the traditional owners. I'd like to start off by congratulating and thanking Councillor Messina on her 2 years of what has been a difficult period for our city and our country, and I think the world, but the leadership that she's shown and the support that she's provided to all of us, and I think also to the organisation as well. So it is a difficult thing at the best of times to take on the role of Mayor because it is demanding and all-consuming. I have never done it, but I have seen others do it, and I have to say that it is rare to see someone bring everything, their entire self into the role and be so personally committed. So congratulations, Councillor Messina, and thank you on behalf of my fellow councillors for your work. I won't say much more other than to probably echo Councillor Messina's I suppose, recognition of our wonderful staff, the wonderful people who make this organisation a great place to work and a great place, and the community a great place to live. We have the privilege, I think, as councillors to stand up in this chamber, to move motions, to give speeches, to debate issues, to agree and sometimes disagree. But that's their words. They're not the actions that are carried out each day by the 1,300 staff that Councillor Messina mentioned, and I really want to pay tribute to them. We have some incredibly inspiring individuals at every level of the organisation, and tonight is a night for us to not just to elect a mayor and deputy mayor, but also to recognise the work that happens across the year. And obviously I want to wish all those people well. I also just want to echo Councillor Messina's I suppose, delight in what is the first, I believe, in Australia, which is the MOU with Aboriginal Housing Victoria, and a template for all other councils to consider and to look to. And of course also to recognise that Darebin, on one of the other big issues that we do tackle, which of course is our action on climate emergency, has continued to kick big goals, do great work, and of course to set the scene through bringing together all those councils through VECO. But now the next stage is of course our next climate emergency plan, which we are developing in close partnership with First Nations and our diverse communities, and a focus on the most vulnerable. So I'll end it there by saying thank you to my fellow councillors for your support in the role of Deputy Mayor this year. It's been a delight, and I've had the opportunity a couple of times to step in and chair meetings or step in to support the Mayor on occasion, and it's been a real privilege and an honour to do so, and I congratulate and welcome the next Mayor and Deputy Mayor team that we will be bringing on board this evening. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor McCarthy. Also, on behalf of the organisation, I'd like to acknowledge your contribution in the role of Deputy Mayor over the past year. I thank you very much for your hard work, your constant community focus as an advocate for the people of Darebin. Your work as Deputy Mayor has made a real impact, and you've contributed to leave Darebin in a better place, a better, more equitable and sustainable place. And I'm sure you'll continue to support our vibrant community to flourish in the years to come. Thank you, Councillor McCarthy. So, councillors, we'll move to item 4.2, which is the term of the office of the Mayor. There's an officer recommendation, which I'll read to you, but I'll need somebody to move it when they move it to nominate 1 or 2 years. So just for the gallery, it's because we haven't got a screen, so we're looking for a resolution pursuant to section 26(3) of the Local Government Act to elect the Mayor for a term of 1 or 2 years. And note that pursuant to section 26(4) and 5, the next mayoral election must be held on a day to be determined by the council that is as close to the end of the 1 or 2 year term as is reasonably practical. Can I have a mover for that, please? I think Councillor Messina had your hand up before. Can you just nominate 1 or 2 years?
1 year.
1 year. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Rennie, thank you. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, just simple.
Councillor Rennie, do you wish to speak? Does anyone else wish to speak for the motion? No? Well, I'll put that motion to the vote. Can I have all in favour, please? That's unanimous, thank you. So the Mayor will be elected for 1 year. We'll move on to item 4.3, the election of Mayor. But before I call for nominations for the position of Mayor, I'd like to outline the process for the nomination and election of Mayor. The election of the Mayor will be conducted in accordance with Local Government Act 2020 and Council's governance rules. Firstly, I'll call for nominations. Any councillor that is in attendance tonight is able to nominate any councillor for the office of Mayor, or councillors may nominate themselves. The nomination must be seconded and the candidate must consent to their nomination. There is no opportunity to speak for or against nominations. To be elected as Mayor, a candidate must receive the vote of an absolute majority of the council, that is at least 5 votes. Once all nominations are received and I move to the election, no further nominations can be made. If there's only 1 nomination, I will declare that council duly elected as Mayor. If there's more than 1 nomination received, a vote will be taken to elect one of the councillors. If this is required, voting will be undertaken by a show of hands for each nominee after I read out their name. Councillors in attendance at the meeting must vote for one of the candidates. If one candidate receives an absolute majority of the votes, that is 5 or more votes, I will declare that councillor elected as Mayor. If no candidate receives an absolute majority of votes, the candidate with the least number of votes will be defeated. I'll then ask councillors to vote again for the remaining candidates, and again, if necessary, until one councillor has an absolute majority. If two or more candidates have the same number of fewest votes and one of them needs to be declared defeated, this will be determined by lot. In the event that an absolute majority cannot be achieved after 3 rounds of voting, the meeting will be adjourned to a later specified time and date. And if after conducting 3 new election process meetings, an absolute majority cannot be achieved, the election of the mayor will be determined by lot. If this is required, I will explain the process that I will follow. So, councillors, I'm going to ask now for nominations of Mayor. Councillor Messina, your hand was up first.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Julie Williams.
Councillor Julie Williams. Councillor Williams, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I do.
I have a seconder for that. Councillor Newton, thank you. Are there any other nominations for Mayor, councillors? I'll just check this. As I've received just one nomination for the office of Mayor, I'm honoured to declare Councillor Williams to be the duly elected Mayor of the City of Darebin for the 22-23 council year. Congratulations, Councillor Williams. Councillor Williams, I ask you to come and put the robes on, and then we'll give you a little bit of help with the next steps.
It's heavy.
Councillor Williams, I now invite you to assume the chair. Thank you. You do an acceptance speech. So Mayor assumes the chair makes a brief speech, and then you move to here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm very humbled and grateful to be nominated as the Mayor of the City of Darebin. I know it's a huge role, but I believe I have what it takes. I'm ready to take this important role on. Firstly, though, I'd like to thank our outgoing Mayor and our Councillor Lena Messina, and for all her dedicated work over the past 2 years. I'd also like to thank our outgoing Deputy Mayor, Councillor Trent McCarthy. But most of all, I guess I should start off by saying the acknowledgement of the land on which we stand here this evening and pay my respects to the Wurundjeri people, for those in the past, present and emerging. With my fellow councillors, Councillor Mayor Messina and Councillor McCarthy, you've done some huge tireless work over the last couple of years, particularly during a very difficult time of the pandemic, where we've had to do a lot of virtual, non-face-to-face meetings, which has been very difficult over the years, not only for ourselves, but for officers and for the community. We've both served with a lot of passion and integrity, and I look forward to continuing that work with both my councillors. Thinking back to what motivated me to run as a councillor going back over 10 years ago, as a property owner, I found myself with a developer who wanted to develop a multi-storey building that was about 7 stories, and he was the biggest developer in the area that was putting in about 150 applications a year. And I wasn't happy with the situation, so I door knocked hundreds of homes and got over 400 objections. And with that those objections, I took it to VCAT and won it. It showed me that the community can have a voice and can win and be passionate for things you really believe in. It took a matter of time where people kept saying to me, you should run on council. I said I had no idea what council meant. And to be honest, I felt like they were my enemies at the time. It took me, I think, 8 months before I decided to run on council. And I think the most thing that got me at the time was that I was ringing every councillor and nobody got back to me. And then eventually it was Councillor Vince Fontana got back to me. And I asked, what do I do? What's this process? How can I get through all this? Looking back, I always thought that if anybody rang me, I made sure I called them back, because I remember how hurtful it was that I wasn't getting phone call back of the very people I had voted in. So I always make it time to make sure I do return those calls. Following the VCAT hearing, the local community members encouraged me to run. As I said, I did eventually run and I got voted in. At the time, I was hoping I wouldn't get voted in. I was so nervous. Today, I look back and I can say that I'm very proudly to say serving here on Darebin Council. A couple of weeks into being voted in as a councillor, my daughter was diagnosed, and at the time I was devastated, thinking here I'd taken off this career path of going in this direction, and I thought, how could I when I had these other concerns going on in my life? I can look back now and reflect that I have, I guess, looked after children, particularly with disabilities, those who need change, particularly in playgrounds where she struggled to get into a swing that had the chain hook, to now having a playground that has the hanging basket that didn't exist before. We changed the plants to make sure that they were sensory and that they were not poisonous or toxic. And it was great that we were able to change the policy. That policy has now been changed, that is applicable to every municipality in, I believe, Australia. Because it's one place where people should not be discriminated, and that's children in a playground. And I felt that many children were being discriminated. I guess when you come on council, you realise that you can make change and you can make a difference. And I've learnt that over the years. Even though that they may not be the people who vote for you, but yes, you know in your heart that you've made a difference. With this, I've had the real fire in my belly. I've stepped back. I've actually been just a councillor. I've never been a mayor before. So I'm very much looking forward to having that growth on council and also working with my fellow councillors. I'm proud to say that at Darebin, that we've all made a difference and that we're here to make those improvements and changes. That's why we have a council plan. To me, being a good mayor is about much more than chairing a council meeting. It's about good governance, good behaviour, leadership, and building positive relationships. As a mayor, the community has my promise to be the mayor that would be 100% committed to council and to this community. To always advocate for the needs of the community and those who are most vulnerable. To show respect to everyone and celebrate their differences. To listen, act impartially, and be accessible to everyone. I look forward to helping drive the agenda to achieve our community vision, developed by the community for our community, and deliver on our council plan. If the recent election has taught us anything, it's that our community is ready and open for change. Change which I am committed, willing and dedicated to make. I'm truly honoured to be nominated as Darebin's Mayor, and I look forward to getting to work for all of our community. Thank you. So I'll go on to item 4.4, establishment of the role of the Deputy Mayor. Officer's recommendation that council, in accordance to section 20A of the Local Government Act 2020, as its governance rules, establishes the position of the Deputy Mayor for the term to coincide with the term of 2022 to 2023 Mayor. Mayor, there is a mover of the motion to establishment of the role of the Deputy Mayor to coincide with the term of the 2022 and 2023 Mayor. Thank you.
I think you need to call for a mover. I think Councillor Messina's moving.
Okay, I need to have a mover for the role of the Deputy Mayor. I think Councillor Lena Messina had her hand up first. Yes, and would you like to nominate?
No, aren't we moving?
It's procedural, so all you're doing is establishing this, then we elect the deputy. So you just need a seconder for the procedure.
Oh, okay, sorry, we're just going to the seconder for the procedure, please. Councillor Rennie. Thank you, Councillor Messina and Councillor Rennie. May I have, does the mover wish to,
No. No.
does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, Mayor Williams.
Does the seconder wish to speak to the motion? Does anyone else wish to speak or against the motion? No. I will now put the motion to vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. I'll go to item 4.5, election of the Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor, moving on. In accordance to the Council governance rules, I now conduct the election of the Deputy Mayor. The process of the election of the Deputy Mayor is now the same as that of the Mayor and will be conducted in accordance to the Local Law of Act 2020 and the Council governance rules. The nomination. Councillors, are there any nominations for the Deputy Mayor? I'm happy to.
Sorry, please go first.
I'm happy to make the nomination.
I think you can.
Okay, I'll go over to Councillor McCarthy then.
Sure. I'd like to nominate Councillor Suzanne Newton.
Great. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Lawrence, thank you. If there are no further nominations, are there any other nominations? Oh, apologies, sorry. Councillor Newton, sorry. Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor Williams.
Thank you. Are there any other further nominations? If there's no further nominations, then I would like to put that to vote. All those in favour? That is also carried unanimously. Congratulations, Councillor Newton, as Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Well,
Should offer her
I was going to say, would you like to do a speech? Can I offer you if you'd like to do a speech, Councillor Newton?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Williams. I wasn't expecting to be in this role, so I haven't prepared anything, so it'll be a little bit off the cuff. But I'd first like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurrung people as the traditional owners of the land on which we stand and which Darebin is. And I just firstly want to thank Mayor Messina for her last few years and to former Mayor, Deputy Mayor McCarthy for your 12 months as well. It's been really incredible working with all of you. And a huge congratulations to Mayor Williams. So I think the most important thing that I can do as Deputy Mayor is be by your side and support you. And I think I've loved working with Julie over the last 6 years on this council. And I think one of the really positive experiences we've had is working together on the Darebin Disability Advisory Committee. I know that that's an issue that's extremely close to your heart with your daughter, and similarly with me, with my brother John. And I know, I was just thinking before about what Councillor Williams and Mayor Williams brings to the role, and I think it's compassion. And so if I think about what we want for a Mayor of Darebin City in the next 12 months, I think the overwhelming feeling I have that you are a compassionate person is absolutely wonderful for the 12 months ahead. And I think that you are absolutely genuine in your caring for people and also for animals. And I just wanted to give one example recently where we had the animal management facility in Epping, where there was a lot of community sentiment about wanting to get a better outcome for that facility. And Mayor Williams really drove that here in Darebin to get a better outcome for people and a better outcome for animals. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I'm really looking forward to working with Mayor Williams and with the whole team over the next 12 months. And one last thing, I've got a 6-week-old baby, Bryn, at home, so I really wanted to thank my fellow councillors for supporting me in a leadership role during this time. I know we've got other councillors with young families here as well, and I think it's really important to show that people can be councillors, deputy mayors and mayors, as well as everything that's going on in their lives. So big thank you to everyone, and I'm really looking forward to the 12 months ahead. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending, for your interest in tonight's council meeting. You're all invited to join us for some light refreshments in the Shire Hall, which is next door. Councillors, can I ask you all to please stay behind so that we can take a few official photographs, and we'll come and join our guests very shortly. I declare this meeting closed at 33 minutes past 5. 6. Sorry.
Well done.